It's finally that time once again, my FNCS Grand Finals prediction video, and we have a lot to cover today, especially since there have been a lot of bans on NA recently, shifting around which teams would be playing in Grands, and we've also seen a lot of drop spot changes since last weekend's semifinals concluded. So in this video, I'm going to showcase both the EU and NA drop maps as of right now for FNCS Grand Finals this weekend, and go over which teams I think will get top 5 on each region, and highlight the main contest on each region as well. So let's get right into the video. Starting it off, I want to look at the EU drop map and talk about some of the notable teams getting contested this weekend. And starting it off, we have the triple contest down at Mount Olympus with Queasy and Thomas HD, who are one of the favorites going into the season. They will be triple con this season by Doom and Ice and Destro and Pyros. So a season that looked like it had so much promise for Queasy and Thomas HD, and looked like this could potentially be the season that Thomas HD finally gets his FNCS win. It doesn't look so likely as of right now heading into Grands. Queasy and Thomas HD had a really rough weekend in semifinals, with their drop spot being very contested, and it looks like it's not going to end there. We're going to go into FNCS Grand Finals with the POI looking just like it was last weekend in semis for this region. So this kind of also throws Queasy out of my predictions, as I just don't think they're going to get top 5 being triple contested. But at the end of the day, Queasy and Thomas HD are already qualified to the FNCS Global Championship later this year. And if you guys didn't know, the top 5 teams will be qualifying to the FNCS Global Championship this season on EU. So if both Queasy and Malibuca's duos both repeat in the top 5, it will drop down to the top 7, but it will most likely just be Malibuca and Merstosh in the top 5, judging by this off spawn. And then another contest I wanted to talk about was Merstosh and Malibuca are actually contested now. If you guys watched my last video, I did showcase that they were actually uncontested at that time, but as of now, they will be being contested by Finn and Ava Hollow. And now Merstosh and Malibuca should easily handle this off spawn, and I don't think it's going to change where I predict them later in this video for how I think they're going to do this weekend in Grands. So I think this off spawn is definitely heavily favored to Malibuca and Merstosh, who are very used to being contested at this drop anyways. And then the last contest I wanted to talk about on EU, we have Marius and Sandguild triple conned at the Underworld. Marius and Sandguild are one of the teams that have been pretty much uncontested almost all season, it feels like. And sadly, in Grand Finals, they will be contested. So we are most likely not going to see a top 5 repeat for Marius and Sandguild this season, because they are contested by Keelba, Goba, Turtle, and Cheeps over at the Underworld. You never know though, Marius and Sandguild did actually get top 5 last season while contested, so you really can't count this duo out. They know how to play contested, and they've proven that they can place while contested as well. And then now moving on, I want to go over my top 5 predictions for EU FNCS Grand Finals this season. And starting it off, in first place, I have Merstosh and Malibuca winning back-to-back and getting first place for the second season in a row. I just don't see this duo not winning because of the Grim Gate coin. As we all know, it's really good. And yes, they are contested, and they are actually the only contested team in my top 5. But I just believe Grim Gate coin and being contested by a team that's much, much worse than you, I believe this duo will win once again. And then moving on to second, I have Chap and Teeny, and I think this duo could very well win FNCS this weekend. We all know how good this duo is at getting eliminations, and I think if they pop off on day 2, they will probably end up winning the tourney, because if you guys remember, day 2 will be more points than day 1. It will be 1.5 times points, 100 points for a win, and 6 points per elim. So I think a format like that could 1000% benefit a team like this that's so good at getting eliminations. And then moving on to third place, I have Swizzy and Vanyak, who are landing Brawlers Battleground. This is one of the most underrated duos on EU, and these are two of the most underrated players on EU, I feel like, every single season, and I think they're going to secure a top 3 this season. And Brawlers Battlegrounds, I know, isn't the greatest drop spot. Most teams don't even hold the medallion at this POI because they don't even think it's worth holding and basically being shown to everybody else on the map where you are the whole entire game. But regardless of them holding the medallion or not, I think they are going to top 3 this weekend. And even if they don't top 3, I definitely think they should top 5. And then next, my fourth place team prediction, I have Pink and Vico getting top 5 once again for back-to-back seasons. I think Pink and Vico are just like Chapentini. They're a really good pop-off team that's very good at getting eliminations, and I think they benefit very much from the day 2 format being more points. So I see Pink and Vico getting top 5 once again. And yes, I know they have kind of slowed down a little bit lately heading into Grands, but I think they'll figure it out and get another top 5 finish. And now rounding out my top 5 predictions on EU, I have Tayson and Vino getting 5th place. And I've never been too high on Tayson and Vino. I said it last season in my FNCS predictions when I didn't think they were going to get top 5 then. But I feel like they've been playing slightly better this season and they've been playing a lot more than usual. Now in other tournaments, they have been fighting Snazy and Podesai, who also land fencing, but I don't really see them fighting too much in grand finals. I think they'll just split the drop, and that makes this top 5 pick even more comfortable for me. Now you might be wondering, where's a team like Cammy and Seti? I don't really think Cammy and Seti have been too impressive this chapter, so I'm just going to stay away from picking them for now. And at the end of the day, we all know if they get top 5, nobody's going to be surprised. They're 2 of the best players to ever play the game. I just think there are some better picks as of right now. Now, I want you guys to comment down below your top 5 for EU. Let me know which of my picks you agree with and which of my picks you don't agree with. And also let me know down below some sleeper teams you have for EU this season. I think a really good sleeper team is Hriss and Skeevy, landing to the left of Grim Gate over where the yacht used to be. I think this duo is actually pretty solid, and I could see them honestly getting top 5 if they perform well this weekend. So let me know down below your predictions for EU, and I will have a link to this drop map down in the description down below. So if you want to see the map for yourself, make sure to check out the description under this video. And now moving on, I want to talk about the crazy ban situation over on NA that we've had developing. We've had multiple teams getting banned from lowers and or uppers semifinals, and a lot of new teams are now in FNCS Grand Finals since my last video I posted, and we now have a lot of new teams in FNCS Grand Finals. And if you guys remember from my last video, Peterbot and Poyo were actually quad contested at Grim Gate, and now they are just single contested at Grim Gate because 2 of the teams landing there got banned. We had Fade and Zaire get banned because for 1, they were teaming in FNCS semifinals, and for 2, it's a known player named On1 who is ban evading on this account, who also got banned last season for ban evading as well. Then we have Zavi and Neko. Zavi got locked out of his account. We never got a reason why, and we are unsure if he's cheating or not. I personally don't believe he's cheating, but we've seen this happen to a lot of people recently, getting locked out of their accounts, so I'm not really sure what to think. And then we also had Dorito and Kobe get banned the other day for switching teammates during FNCS semifinals. There's a rule for FNCS semifinals that you could switch teammates going into the tournament to play with a different person other than who you played the qualifiers with. But once you play a match in FNCS semifinals, you will be locked with that teammate for the duration of the weekend. And Dorito and Kobe switched teammates after FNCS Upper Bracket Session 1 and then played and qualified to Grand Finals after that, so they actually got banned for that. And the teams replacing these 3 banned teams were Batman, Booga, and Rapid, Cease and Jack, and Brayden and Zyrie. And then also today, as I'm literally making this video, another team was removed from lower bracket, H-Cube and VLEX. And the sad thing is, VLEX was the only console player who qualified to FNCS Grand Finals on NA, and he sadly will no longer be in FNCS Grand Finals. And it is believed to be that his teammate was banned. We are unsure why he was banned, but he was the player in this duo that did get banned. So we are now looking at either Shadow and Zukis, who are 16th now on the lower bracket leaderboard being in Grands, or once again Fatch and Walkers, who are currently 26th in the upper bracket leaderboard. And one of these 2 duos will be replacing H-Cube and VLEX in FNCS Grand Finals on an A. And we are unsure, but I believe it's going to be Shadow and Zukis again. But enough yapping about the banned teams. Moving on to the NA contest, as I just mentioned, Peterbot is now single contested in FNCS Grand Finals. And yesterday in scrims, he 2-0'd this player, basically just 1v2ing him. It was that easy. So I think Peterbot is going to absolutely dominate this team this weekend, and I think Peterbot is going to absolutely dominate Grands this weekend as well. But that probably doesn't surprise any of you at all. It was honestly expected. The next contest I want to talk about is the Fencing Fields Triple Con, and just like last season, Fencing Fields is Triple Con once again, with 2 of the same teams as last season as well. We got Muzz and Paper, Acorn and Cold, and Yasir and Krizux. Muzz and Paper will be landing the north side of Fencing Fields. Acorn and Cold will probably be landing the south main building, and so will Yasir and Krizux. So Acorn versus Yasir pretty much all weekend long. Unless Acorn goes with the same type of style of play they went with last season, where they don't really fight off spawn and basically triple split fencing. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out, but I expect Acorn and Cold to probably be fine this weekend, even with them being triple contested. Another off spawn I want to talk about is Booga being contested by Zeus and Pix. This isn't Zeus's first time contesting Booga either. He contested him back in chapter 3 at Chonker Speedway with Costa, so these two players are quite familiar with each other. And then lastly, we have the Underworld triple con of Skittles and Trashy, Zyro and Z-Link, and Batman Booga and Rapid. Basically, all three of these teams are going to be fighting over the Siphon Medallion, so good luck to all three of them because all three of their grand finals are GG'd. And now let's get into my top 5 predictions for NA grand finals this weekend. First place, probably not surprising at all, I have Peterbot and Pollo. I think Peterbot and Pollo are going to win by a landslide this weekend, and I think we're all going to be in for a show. So not really much to talk about with this pick. Next in second, I think it will be Iamzo and Rise. Iamzo and Rise are one of the most consistent duos on an A, and without being DDoS last season, could potentially have won last season and be the reigning FNCS champs. And if they didn't get 8th place last season, they would probably be the most consistent duo in an A, but sadly that whole situation happened to them. But I think this duo is just too good when it comes to grand finals to get worse than second or third this weekend, so I have them in my second place. And then next in third place, I have Reet and Ritual. Reet and Ritual got 5th place last season, and I see them doing slightly better this season and getting 3rd place. Reet and Ritual are really good at getting eliminations, and with the 2-day format, I think they could benefit really well on day 2 if they have a pop-off day. And then next in 4th place, I have Acorn and Cold, the reigning FNCS champions, getting top 5 once again. And you might be wondering why I have them getting 4th place while being triple conned. Acorn and Cold are very good at playing quiet shambles, and when they are contested, they most likely are going to end up shambles splitting their drop anyways. So I think Acorn and Cold won't fight Yasir and Krizux too much, and will most likely be quote unquote uncontested in a way this weekend. And I think they could slide into the top 5. And rounding out my top 5 predictions on NA, I have Baka and Pars. I think this is one of the most underrated duos on NA, and this duo always performs when they're uncontested, and as of right now, they are uncontested heading into the weekend. So I have high expectations for Baka and Pars. Since they are actually uncontested, they've been contested in pretty much every grand finals at some point, I think. So hopefully we can finally see this duo be uncon and get that top tier placement that we've been expecting from them. And I know a bunch of Clix fans watch my videos and are probably wondering where Clix and Epic Whale are. And I just think Clix and Epic Whale are worse than last season, and they got 4th last season. So I think they're going to drop outside of the top 5 and probably place anywhere from 6th to 10th place. And I have the same feeling for Booga and Agers as well, 6th to 10th place for both of those duos. I just think Clix and Epic Will are always shambles and very reliant on the craziest solo clutches and refreshes to have good games. So I'm just not a big fan of their playstyle. So I really just don't think they're going to play as well as they did last season. And then another team, we got Cooper and Kanata. A lot of people are predicting Cooper and Kanata to get around like top 3, top 5. I just think there's some better picks out there. And I do believe Cooper and Kanata could very well get top 5. But I just think sometimes they look a little bit shaky. So we'll really just have to see how this duo places this weekend. But I have them also in the 6 to 10 slot, just like Booga and Clix. And then my dark horse for the weekend, I think Bryce and Bolts are the dark horse to do well this weekend on an A. Bryce and Bolts played very, very well in FNCS semifinals, and I think if they translate that consistency from semifinal set lobbies to grand final set lobbies, I think this team could be a very surprising pick to top 5. And we all know how good Bryce is. Bryce was one of the most consistent players on NA last year, and Bryce was also the highest placing NA player on LAN last year, outside of Mero and Cooper, of course. So I think Bryce is a sneaky pick for a potential top 5. I want you guys to now comment down your predictions for NA. Let me know which picks of mine you agree with or which picks of mine you disagree with. And also, just like EU, I'm going to have the NA drop map down in the description below. And if you guys want to join my Discord, which will also be in the description below, I have every single NA drop map in my Discord. As y'all probably know and or can tell based on my videos and based on my Discord if you're in it, I have a lot more insight on NA, being the fact that I'm actually from NA and I'm on the time schedule for NA. So I've got pretty much every single NA drop map that's ever existed since Chapter 2 in my Discord in the description. so make sure to join if you ever need a drop map for NA tournaments. And as always, if you never want to miss a video just like this one, FNCS Grand Finals predictions video, or any tournament recap, or big breaking news, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you guys aren't new to the channel and have watched my videos before and aren't subscribed yet, it would mean a lot to me if you did hit the subscribe button. Hopefully we can maybe hit 10K this weekend if we have some pop-off videos. That would be insane. And as always as well, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, as it would help it get pushed out to more people. This weekend is about to be super fun. That's going to do it for me in this video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.